All right. So, okay, back to some of your things that you've done. I want to kind of highlight some of the other things that people may not know
Right,
about what you're doing. So, let's talk about this book here. Where do we go from here?
right.
Kevin Cole series books.
Mm.
This is more of an archive of some of the work that you've done and some of that history. Tell me a little bit about that and what about it is educational? Because there's a lot of education in that book. I've read it.
Well, the book is about, well, first of all, there was an exhibition entitled Where We Could Go From Here. And it was at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Georgia. I received a, what is called a working artist project, a grant, which allowed me to do work for a year about a certain thing. Um, One of my collectors, her name is Patty Walters, out of Washington D.C., who just donated $1 million worth of art to Howard University on behalf of her husband, Ron Walters, who was my frat brother. Ron Walters wrote a book entitled "Freedom Is Not Enough," and in the book, when she gave me the book, I read it, and it was just so inspiring to talk about the idea of voting and gerrymandering. And another professor um, who teaches at Emory, uh, Carol Anderson,
Yes.
she wrote a book on entitled "One Vote, No Vote." How 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 white supremacy is a part of democracy. I'm not. That's not the exact word. Well, so anyway, in reading those books, I said what I wanted to do was I wanted to do pieces that primarily dealt with gerrymandering. And as I started doing my research and reading those books, they just threw me for a loop. A lot of things I didn't know. I had never heard of gerrymandering.
Let's talk about for those who don't know what gerrymandering is. Can you please explain a little bit of
Gerrymandering
that?
has a lot to do with the census every 10 years. And the whichever party have the whichever party have the most uh, the most people, whichever party, when I say whichever party, Democrat, Republican, whoever controls the Congress or Senate area, they draw the maps where the votes should be. And a lot of times, what they would do with the Republicans, they would combine uh, black districts where they're voting against each other. Okay, and so sometimes what happens is the black votes are suppressed. So what I did was I went through a lot of the southern states, which happened to be uh, Republican states, and wherever you saw the dirt, that's where the black votes they were suppressed. And I did it in the year of 2016 because of who's president.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's what it was based on. But then, as I started reading farther, a little bit later, what came about, I kept asking now. I knew about the poll taxes because my grandfather told me about it. But I didn't know how severe that they were. So I asked my friends. I said, "Ask your grandparents and ask your parents. What are some of their experiences in terms of voting?" One lady out of Florida said that she was from um, Oconee, Florida, which was if you know your history, that's where Rosewood was a prominent area in Florida where African Americans they were prominent, and then they got ran out of town,
That's right.
and some were even killed.
Yeah.
So she said before you can go and vote, there will be three things that happen. The first day there will be a series of cross burnings. The second day there will be a series of nooses hanging from telephone poles. And the third day there will be signs that say, "It's best you not be hanging out." Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Then there were Anime Parker said she was 91 years old. She said she was asked how many black eyed peas come in the bag.
Wait. So she was expected to know that just from
Yes,
looking at the
yes.
back.
How many peas
This is
come?
like the
Yeah,
carnival.
yes, yes.
Oh my god.
How many bubbles in the bar? So a lot of this research too, I got from the Legacy Museum. They have these things documented. How many jelly beans in a jar? But the one that really got me the most was a man. He didn't want me to use his name, so I called him Leroy Johnson. He would talk to me from his home phone or his cell phone. He called me from a payphone.
Now this is recent.
Recently, yeah, this was
Why the
2 years
fear?
ago.
All these years later, why?
He said he was still afraid. He said he would he told me stories of people that would go and vote and they would end up missing, or even stories such as chopping off your fingers.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Just to prevent you from getting. Okay, so I have to ask this question. I know everyone. This is my secret guilt, but I need to know this. With some of the new things the Supreme Court has passed down with affirmative action,
Right.
as well as the new redistricting that they did in Louisiana to
Yes.
stop gerrymandering.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that? Where are we going? I mean, what's the future?
Well, I didn't realize in this title that Dr. King had done a sermon entitled "Where We Go,"
Uh-huh.
1966 or 67. I mean, it's the same thing happening, but it's in a different way.
Right.
But what was so amazing that only one person from South Carolina would allow me to interview her.
For fear to this date, in this
To
day
this
and
day,
age.
she's the only one. Um, she was asked to recite the Constitution, the preamble,
Nobody knows that.
in Savannah, Georgia.
Nobody knows that.
Savannah, Georgia.
I can guarantee there's some lawyers like wouldn't know the
No,
preamble.
no, no.
Yeah.
I mean, and the last ballot box I did, a lady from Arkansas, my home state, when she came to exhibition, she said that her mother was asked how much do a bale of cotton weigh.
Oh my gosh. There's no way to know.
No, we know.
See, these are the things that we're never finding out later in time. The inequities.
No.
And that brings me to this then, because this talks a little bit about that. So this is your ballot box series. That you, yeah, and you did display this at September Graves
Right.
gallery as well. Tell me a little bit about this. I know that you're probably not able to see this, guys, from home. We'll give you some pictures so you can see that, but you're noticing that there's Breonna Taylor's name on there. Tell us a little bit about this.
What I chose to do, if you notice bullets on the bottom of it, they always have the manufacturing names on it.
Yeah, these are actually bullets.
Bullets, right. So
Yeah.
what I did was I put the people who were killed by the police name, the African Americans killed by the police name, Breonna Taylor, a few of the Dante Waters,
Ariana
Jefferson, Lot.
Andre.
Yeah, that's what I chose to put on there.
Wow. And so this is why this book is really interesting that you chose this name for it.
Yeah.
Where did we go from here?
Where we go?
That's the question, because it feels like we're kind of going
It's all
back.
about, we're going back, but it's all about voting. That's going to be, I mean, if we don't, I don't know if you realize that they were saying over 100 million people did not vote.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. That is true. A lot of people don't
They
see the
don't-
value of voting. Because I think too, like a lot of people were giving up. I mean,
yeah,
we feel like we've been doing it all these years and nothing's changed.
but what's as I told a group of young people, if it wasn't so important, why don't they want you to vote? That's the, and you only get one. That's the only even thing that we have. Everybody get one.
Yeah, there's one opportunity and that's it. It's
That's
gone.
it.
You know, that brings me back to your original conversation. You were talking a little bit about gerrymandering and that redistricting. Now they did pass a law. Supreme Court passed a law
Yeah.
with the redistricting in Louisiana.
Right.
Do you think stuff like that will help at all?
It's going to vary. If they keep leaving it up to the states, it may or it may not.
Yeah.
But when you look at if you outnumber another party, and both parties have done, I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's what's interesting about the Republicans is they all stick together no matter how wrong it is.
Yeah, regardless of the situation. You're right.
How bad it is. I mean, like, wow, this shit like a game,
Jerry, you're missing a foot. It's okay. We're gonna ride together. That's right. You're absolutely right. And so that brings me to another subway because mean, as you know, Beauty Lifestyle Network is dedicated to women and their advancement. And, you talked about women carrying that burden.
Mhm.
African American women statistically have the most degrees in America.
Right.
Yet in the art world, we tend to struggle a little bit.
Mhm.
Why is it important to you to make sure that these women have a platform? And before you answer that, I need to go ahead and speak to the camera for a second and give you a story. I'm a curator by profession and an art director. Kevin was the one who pulled me in. He was like, Nicole, they need more black women in this field. We need you. We need women like you. So you actually played a big role in my development.
Thank you.
So why is it important for you to see black women in this field, and what does art do to allow that to happen? Why is that so pivotal for you? Because you're in there with the community, especially for female curators, female art directors, female artists in general.
I have 5 sisters
Oh my gosh.
and one daughter.
Yes, that's
So
right.
that said, I mean, that says all, but not just in the arts, but just women have been behind men for a long time. If you want to get something done, and I was looking at a documentary about how they talked about all the guys in civil rights, but very few things was said about those women and what they did.
That's right.
You got you got Rosa Parks on cover. You got Ida B. Wells, who was writing a lot about mentions. She got, I mean, you got a lot of women.
Zora Neale Hurston.
Darnell Hurston. I mean, you got a lot of women that was really involved in the struggle, but nobody probably talks about it.
Yeah, you're right. You're actually in an elite. You're one of the youngest members of Afrocobra.
Mhm.
Now, Afrocobra, I call them the Black Panthers of the art world, basically. I mean, it's an interesting story because the FBI and the government actually actively went out and faced people's murals who were part of this organization. And it wasn't because that the imagery was violent or inappropriate. It was because it was, and I'm gonna look at the camera. It was because it was too positive.
Right.
That's the reason why these murals were defaced. So being part of that, and there were some women who were part of this
Yes.
organization. Can you tell me about your interaction with them?
Well, the late Jeff Donaldson, who attended the University of Arkansas Fine Club, he was one of the founding members, along with Walter Jarrell, Jay Jarrell, and Gerald Williams. But I met Jeff when I was a sophomore in college, and he studied under the late John Howard as well. And Jeff would come back talking about the things that they were doing and what their art was about. I had no idea that I would later become a member, but I met Walter Jarrell here, who was one of my mentors. He and his wife, Jay Jarrell, right? And he was the one that once I got closer to them to understand a lot of things, I was invited. And I mean, you just can't join; you have to be invited.
Yeah.
And so I liked their idea of what their work was about: positive images about the family, positive images about African Americans, and along with at that time they had what they called the bright colors. They called them Kool-Aid colors.
Kool-Aid colors.
Kool-Aid colors.
I
So
want purple. Let me get that
so,
green.
so then they were using those colors in their work, which was bright. And for a long time, I thought that my work fit in the group.
Very much so.
And so when I was invited in 2003, I joined the group, and we're still meeting. We still do a lot of mentorship as we travel.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched the documentary with Felicia Rashad on
Yeah.
PBS and
Yes.
talked a little bit about the lineage.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, that to me is just so fascinating in itself. I mean, you had this illustrious career, like you had the working artist degree at the MoCA GA. What's next for Kevin Cole? Like, where is Kevin going to be? Where is Kevin floating around? Like, you got a lot going on.
Well, right now, I'm a part of a show in San Francisco at the Jenkins Johnson Gallery. It's up until the end of August. Then I have a one-person show scheduled with her in late October.
Okay.
So I'm excited. I'm excited about the gallery.
Absolutely. We'll actually have to put some of the details there so people can tune into that. And I want to talk before we move on to another topic here. I want to speak a little bit more about the blankets. What does the blanket series mean? Because it has a very specific meaning.
Well, the Blanket series that was inspired in 2003. I received the Georgia Secondary Art Educator of the Year Award, and then later on, I received the Southeastern Region National Art Educator Award. And I was in Denver, Colorado, and I went to the museum there.
Hmm.
And going to the museum, I saw these various blankets from different countries all over the world. They had these patterns, and they were all stacked up. And I recall my mom, and she used to be a housekeeper, and we would go with her to
Check it out.
to work because she, uh, she couldn't afford anybody to the babysitter, and we would have to always help her fold the sheets or fold the blankets. So I decided to make a series that was going to primarily with the blankets, but also including the neckties and the scarf shapes as a part of it. Everything would be folded, and normally it was folded in biblical numbers like threes, numbers you primarily find in Christianity, like
Yes.
three, you got seven,
Yeah.
you got five, you got two. So normally that was the way the blanket that they were done. And I use every medium that I'm normally I work with.
Okay.
I work with metal, and a lot of people don't know the reason that I work with metal is I was supposed to go to New York on September 11th.
Oh my gosh.
The day before, Eric Mack, a friend of mine, he went. I said, "Man, I'm not going." And next thing we know, the the Twin
$20.
Towers, they were here.
So you're supposed to be in
I was
like
supposed to
ground
be,
zero.
we were supposed to go that morning,
My God.
and I just said I wasn't going. And Bill Stevens, a friend of mine who was a photographer, he sent me a picture of a little boy holding a piece of tar paper and aluminum.
Mm.
You think about the planes I made out of metal. So that's why I started working on metal as my protest against such.
So that really did affect you deeply.
Yeah, because
Especially,
I mean, you watch the TV and people they jump out of planes,
I remember, yeah.
they jump out of, or they jump out of buildings.
Yeah.
You going in the building. I mean, that's changed our lives forever.
Yep. You're absolutely
It,
right.
it did. Well, I think right now there are three major events: September 11th, Hurricane Katrina,
Yeah.
and COVID-19.
COVID-19. These are things that will
Yeah,
has changed our
and
society.
it's changed us forever.
Yeah.
And when I started, when you think about uh, the effects of Hurricane Katrina, I started to doing a process of mapping then, where I was looking on the map and I started to map the path of the storm. I had my friends and frat brothers; they were going back and forth with them to get their belongings, and I was talking to a lot of people about how they survived. And so I did this series called Fragments of Frozen Sound.
Fragments
It's
of
a frozen
frozen
sound. When
sound.
you think about New Orleans has its own sound.
That's right.
It's its own culture
Its own vibe. Yeah.
vibe. So I did a series of works that was based on that.
My gosh.
And so I'm still continuing to to, to use the mapping as a base for the piece.
And that's so important. That's so
Yeah,
important.
yeah. But yet you still have the neckties and scarf shape.
So you kind of influence, and actually, if you look at Kevin's pieces, and you'll see some of the pieces come through, you'll see states on there,
Yeah,
and like even like some of the pieces that we're seeing here at the aluminum, you'll see sand and tar paper
yeah,
actually soldered to the aluminum.
right.
So, now you're getting a better understanding as to the heart and the mind and the soul of Kevin Cole. Like in Katrina, I mean, frozen moments of sound. Why frozen?
Because everything stopped. And talking to my frat brothers, they were saying at a blink of an eye, nobody could get no money at the banks. I mean, it was just everything stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, and so everything was so fragmented.
Yeah.
You know, there were pieces everywhere.
Yeah. That's right. Chairs and trees
Yeah, I mean, pieces
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So that series it really fit. And then when you talk about COVID, that stopped America as well, but stopped America where you could see George Floyd. It was a tough. I mean, they played over and over.
Yeah.
Had it not been seen so much, I don't think anything would happen.
I think it would have been another story that we forgot about.
Another Emmett Till.
Yeah, another to your right. I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy that you do because it did. I think COVID-19 allowed us to
Reflect and see who's in charge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say some of the strongest art pieces were done during COVID.
Oh yeah, yes,
Yeah.
I did several that were entitled. One was entitled "Dying to Survive,"
Wow.
and it was highly political. It was just a silhouette of a black man hanging from a necktie.
I remember that. And
Yeah.
it gives you chills.
Yes,
It actually has a
8 feet
imagery
tall.
on it. Yeah.
8
So
feet tall.
okay, Kevin, we gotta talk about this because I remember, and look, y'all, I remember we were at this gallery and they asked Kevin a question about racism. You are always unafraid of telling the truth. You don't hide what you have to say. You don't hide your political affiliations. You don't hide what this piece actually means. You're not trying to candy wash it for anyone.
No.
Why is it important that people understand the severity? Because I mean, I remember that piece, just seeing the silhouette and just seeing the silhouette of black men hanging from that. And it was huge.
Mhm.
It's not always a pleasant feeling for us. Like we kind of feel like you're out of your skin. So why is it important for you to make sure people see this?
Art is supposed to move.
Yeah.
That if it doesn't move you think about it was Nina Simone and James Baldwin, uh, also Paul Robeson talked about. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
If in history, 20 to 30 years from now, they're gonna look at what was artists doing at that time.
That's right. That's right.
You
I
know?
mean, they're the pulse of society.
Right.
Yeah.
And so art's supposed to do it. And I was telling the story. I just had a piece that was taken down from an art show.
Really?
It was in a government building, and the piece was entitled "Living Between the White Lines." Well, I took lines from Mississippi on the map. I cut those out, painted them, and then you saw there was a dark part where it was that dark part represented the black area where the votes were suppressed, but but if you turn a certain way, it looked like a bird.
Mm.
So I put it up. It was hanging in the show, but there's also uh, a Confederate flag, and that was a noose in the middle of the Confederate flag,
Okay.
and it was called Mississippi Justice.
That's a savage piece.
Yeah,
That is a
living
savage
between
piece.
the lines, Mississippi Justice.
Where does this piece live now? Where?
I still have it. Hopefully we'll be able to show it.
That's
But
amazing.
but where I got the the image from, a white guy was wearing a T-shirt with the Confederate flag and a noose, and he called it Mississippi Justice.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm speechless. These are things that you see in this day and age.
Yeah.
You're just like, are people still
I
subscribing to that?
I was driving through Mississippi, and I asked him if I could take a picture. He said, "Yeah."
And he wasn't a racist.
I don't know what he was. I took the picture.
Oh my God. And so when the government took down the piece, what was the reason for even saying that?
She even put the artist statement up and told them I was a black artist, and they kept saying that well, it was the African Americans said they were offended, not knowing they didn't read the artist statement.
They didn't understand what it actually meant.
No.
I mean, I feel like we have gotten into this overly sensitive society where we are getting the bare roots of what we're trying to accomplish here. Our pain is only a portion of our story. If we look past the pain, there's so much more to that. And
Right.
that's what your pieces really show. Is you have like this piece is neckties intertwined together, but it's still a collaborative effort of
There's a
men
reason.
who have lost their lives, right?
And then each one is piece by piece. And with the new work, I'm doing a series of labs going to be in my show, San Francisco. And the show is entitled Same Song, Different Beat.
Okay,
Same song, different beat. And I'm using the circle a lot
that's amazing.
because, we keep going round and round.
Like a record player.
Same song, it's the same old thing. So then you have different shapes inside those circles with steps, ladders.
Yeah.
And that's what the series is about.
Now the steps are actually those are countries and states?
No, those are just different shapes from different counties around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have a county in the outline.
Yes, that outline. Yeah.
See, I like the fact that you're able to, and you have geography, you have elements, you have education embedded into your pieces. You put a lot of color. You put symbolism with the numbers, 3-7, the number of completion in the Bible.
Right.
Why do you? Because a lot of times I think people feel like the art world is pretentious and like it's just too much and it's not for me. It's not down to earth. Why do you put so much time and effort and thought into your pieces? And then why do you want the common person to come and look at a piece and be like, let me figure this out?
Right.
Why does it matter to the common individual?
Well, I think for me, despite everything that have happened to us, faith brought us through.
Yeah.
And that's been all my titles are mainly positive titles.
Yeah.
They're about dreams, hopes, and things like that. But I just think that it's important to me as an educator. Because, I knew if it wasn't for John Howard, Terrence Corbin, Henry Linton, and Ernest Davidson, and Ted Johnson, I wouldn't be an artist.
Yeah.
I saw 5 men that looked like me. They were selling out. They were getting major awards. Like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But they also said I have a responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. So that brings me to another question. Do we need to see ourselves in faces for us to believe that we can accomplish it?
It's getting there, and the interesting thing is, I tell people that it all started when President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama picked 2 black artists.
Kende Wiley and Amy Sherrill.
And Michelle.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that became an issue. A lot of people didn't know that Assembly Knox paid Bill Clinton. He black.
What?
Yes. But why? Because a black president picked 2 black people. That's the issue. Nobody. Bill Clinton was painted by Assembly Knox.
And nobody knew, like,
They knew it, but they didn't. That wasn't probably because the black president picked 2 black artists.
And that was the biggest issue there.
Right. And see, a lot of the museums have holes in that collection. That's why they're going back to try to get some of the black abstract artists be doing some wonderful things.
See, that's where we segue to collection.
Yeah.
So one thing about you, Kevin, that people may or may not know is that not only are you a very accomplished artist, but you're a collector.
Yes.
As well. What's the importance of collecting?
My culture.
Your culture.
Is my
Say it again.
My culture.
That's right. So why? Like, tell me.
I mean, it's part of history. I mean, I enjoy it, and I would say that. I mean, I do collect both because I like it, and I collect as a investment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an African American artist hot right now.
See, that's what people keep forgetting. Look, y'all, I'm gonna look straight at camera. This is the time to buy African American art. Does it have to be $10,000,
No.
$20,000? Where does someone want to get into this? Where do they start?
I would say that one of the best collections I've ever seen that was not big money. There was an art teacher in Florida. She had her student artwork.
Oh,
She only paid. She said she would buy one piece or two pieces a year. And when she didn't tell us who the art, we thought they were major artists in that area. They were high school artists.
you're
Art
kidding me.
students, yes.
Wow.
Yes, she said she would buy one. She paid no more than $150 for.
And I bet you some of those artists propel themselves to some great
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
So this is where I think that the misconception about collection is. A lot of people think to get into the art world, you have to have $1 million+ dollars. But more than likely, it starts with like $50,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you kind of build. So tell me, give me like the 5 steps. Like, let's start with step one. Step one, what do I need to do to get into the art world as a
I
beginning
would,
collector?
I would buy. I come from more of a um, academic standpoint.
Mhm.
I would buy the book by Halima Taha entitled "Collecting Works on Paper and Canvas" by African American artists.
Yes.
That's what I would buy. I would educate. I would educate myself. There are several books online about collecting. Then start going to art. Most art exhibitions are free.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, start going to, and it bothers me to see uh, what would you call it, a $2 million house with posters on the wall.
The prints will
Prints, yeah,
get you
but
every time.
they are really posters. They call them prints
Yeah.
in a gold expensive frame, and they say, "Well, I collect." And you and okay, then I'm getting up. But the second thing is start going to our shows.
So art shows.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm educated. I've read my books. I got Salima Tile books on Amazon. Get it before it goes up in price. Trust me, I made that mistake. So I'm educated. So now we move to the next step, and you're saying that the next thing I should be doing is going to art shows.
Art show.
What's the benefit of going to art shows?
Because then you get a chance to see what you like. Maybe you talk to the artist, but see now with Instagram and websites, you can be anywhere you want to in the world. And I say go to museums.
Yeah.
I mean, spend a day at that, but you gotta educate yourself. And first thing is tell people that you can't have everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
But what I decided to do was my collection is of artists who were educators. That's what I focus on. We have both black and white artists,
Yeah.
and we have a room that is by women or about women.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you got a whole female
Yeah, a
dedicated
whole
room.
room just about women or by women.
Wow. And actually, I was like kind of like eavesdropping, but one of the pieces you collected is going to be in someone's catalog because it's such an important piece,
Yeah.
right?
Well, there 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 will be three pieces in Sam Gilliam show, which is the 50th anniversary of the Contemporary Arts Center.
What is that going to be? That Sam Gilliam show is
Yeah,
going to be
it's in August 24th
August 24th. You guys got to make sure you go to that.
at the Atlanta Contemporary Arts Center.
So Atlanta Contemporary Art Show for Sam Gilliam show. You
Who's one of
definitely
the most
get it.
important, one of the most important abstract artists in the world, black or white, but he happened to be black.
Yeah, and his work is amazing, absolutely amazing. And then you also were mentored by David Driscoll, so
David Driscoll, yeah.
you had some weight there.
And it was funny because the late John Howard and David Driscoll, they were in graduate school at Atlanta University. They studied with Hale Woodruff.
Yeah,
And when recruiting me from Arkansas, John Howard told me that about David Driscoll, and he said, if you come here, he may write about you one day. In 1993, he did write about me, and he remained a very good friend of mine. And then he wrote it forward for my first catalog entitled "Straight from the Soul."
yeah.
And the the Driscoll Center owns about 4 of my pieces.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have their own curator, they have their own thing in the High Museum. So, I mean, I find that to me is stunning, to say the least. Okay, all right. So now I'm educated. I've read my books. I've gone to my shows. I've educated myself. I know what it's a lot of people don't realize artists will be at the show. So you got to get hands-on experience. All right. So now,
Then I decide what piece do I want.
Okay.
I would maybe if you say you got 5 hours you like, I would do a studio bit. Ask them, can you do just a studio bit?
Now let me ask you this: as a studio visit, if I take the time and I waste an artist's time, well, not waste. I hate
Yeah,
saying waste,
wait.
but if I go to someone and I go and take up their time, but I only plan on spending $150, like should I feel bad about that? Like, are I
No,
okay with that? Like,
no.
how does that?
Well, just let the. I
Should I
said
set the expectation first?
I would look at how much money I want to spend. Okay, how much can I afford to spend? Okay, I always say I start with a piece that's going to be my main piece, and I put everybody around it.
Mm,
Say example, I have a Frank Herman, who's my godfather.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Also
I'm
very
a Frank.
important artist.
Well, they're very important.
Very important artist.
Everybody in that room has to be a conversation. The book has to be a conversation
Yes, that's
with
right.
it. Then you go to the next room, and then and but I would say if you know you're not interested in the art, the worst thing you can do is if a piece is a certain price and you go below that piece, just say, ask the artist, is there any room for negotiation?
And then see now that's the question. It's like people think that okay, the price is what it is. Do artists negotiate?
They do
They negotiate.
only, well, to a certain extent.
Like don't disrespect them,
Don't
right?
disrespect them, right?
So you can't go from like 1,500, like I can only give you $50,
Right.
right?
No,
It's gotta be reasonable.
reason within reason.
So would you
And
work
most,
percentages?
well, most artists can give you at least a 20% discount because that's what Gallagher give you.
Okay.
And or you ask for a payment plan.
Yeah,
I was telling a group of artists the other day, if you got 10 people paying you $100 a month, that's $1,000.
that's true.
And most artists, and I have arranged that with a number of people.
Yeah, yeah.
But I pick out artists who I think going to go somewhere. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't just pick out because I like the work.
Yeah.
And normally I get at least two pieces by an artist.
So you always say buy one to love and one to sell.
Keep one I'm going to keep. One I'm either going to donate to an art center or give to my kids. But I buy at least two pieces by.
Okay, that's smart.
And then I'll tell you this. When I turned 60 years old, I woke up, I said, I want to buy a new car. I made two phone calls. I made one to appraiser and one to she knew somebody who wanted this piece. I bought the piece for $4,500.
Mhm.
I sold it for 18,500.
What? Wait. $4,500 to what?
To 18,500.
To $18,500. So that's over 100%
Yeah,
markup.
yeah.
Holy crap. So that was able to get you the car.
That way they get me to give me a new car.
One piece.
One piece.
So like the generational wealth is there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pass that stuff down to your kids, grandkids, and they're going to be able to. I mean, some of those pieces will pay for college education.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so this is the conversation, guys, that we really need to start having about African Americans really investing. I mean, we talk about this all the time. When
Right.
we get on the phone together and we talk about why aren't more people investing? Because they feel like this is the game not for them. Okay, so now we're going through this process, right? We've done our education, we've gone to the shows, we're starting to invest. How do I know that an artist is worth me collecting?
What I always do, number one, I look at their bio. I look at their resume. Where are they shown? Who's buying them? How many museums are buying them? How many art shows are they
Okay.
at? Okay. I mean, all that information, that's important. I mean, I do look at education because I come from an education background. But there are some good self-taught artists.
Yeah.
I mean, but I look at what they've shown, the exhibition record, whether the during exhibition, they uh, how many, how many, how many one person shows, how many museums are buying, how many Fortune 500 companies buying work. Even how many celebrities are buying work.
No, yeah.
Now you have to keep in mind that some artists they give celebrities a piece.
See, now that's the difference. It's like some
There's a
people
difference.
just give them away for free, and
Yeah.
some people like it has to be a thought
Yeah.
piece.
Yes.
So we can't just be giving stuff
Some
away.
artists they would give up a celebrity piece just to say that they're in that celebrity art collection.
Yeah, and that's not the scale that you
No,
want to be
no.
at. So, okay, we're gonna play a little game then.
Okay.
Top 3 artists, emerging collectors. Top 3. Who should I be buying right now? Who should I be going for? Give me 3 names. This is hard. I know. There's a lot. Now, the 3 doesn't mean it's the best. I'm just saying, what's the best investment right
I think right now, are you saying you saying like in Atlanta
now?
or
Anywhere
national?
nationally. That makes it cool a lot easier.
Well, nationally, person that I like that I mentor is Radcliffe Bay.
Radcliffe, yes. Radcliffe Valley is a good one.
Yeah.
Very good one.
I mean, you know, he's been doing great work for years. I gotta throw in Derek Phillips though.
Derek Phillips Sr.
I mean, senior, yes.
Yes.
I mean, I gotta show throw
And
it
his
in.
stuff is amazingly priced.
And there's a young artist that's going to be in Articulate. His name is Tracy Jackson.
Tracy Jackson
Yes.
at Articulate, which
He's a-
is July 17th.
Yes. He's going to be there.
Excellent.
He's somebody, and I'm gonna see. There was a young lady I met. Oh God, I can't think of her name right now. I met her a few weeks ago, and I looked at her. I can't think of her name.
Well,
But I just think that you need. I just think that you need to. Those are people here. Those people who are local in Atlanta. But you got a lot of national
yeah,
people
yeah.
as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So we're gonna do rapid fire. We're gonna play a little game with Kevin. He didn't know this was gonna happen, but it's happening today, y'all. We're wrapping up on our show here, and we've had an amazing time with our conversation with Kevin on not only the art of being an artist, but the art of collecting. So we're gonna play some rapid fire games, okay? Favorite color? I'm just gonna ask you questions. I need to have like rapid fire answers. You ready? So okay, Kevin, favorite color?
Like
Black. That's not even a color. It's because black a color as an artist. Is black is a color? Okay. Okay. Favorite music artist to listen to when you're making art?
Miles Davis.
Miles Davis. What song?
So what?
So what? Okay. That's a good one. Actually, it's a very good one. All right. Favorite car to drive in? Like, what's the favorite? Like, out of all the cars that you've driven in, what's the favorite car that you can drive and you can say, like, this is a work of art in itself?
Convertible. Bible.
What year?
2002.
A Volvo convertible? Really?
2002. Like you said,
I thought it was an Aston Martin or like one of those suicide
I'm
doors.
not gonna.
No, you're not in, but it's good stuff. Okay, so next one is if you could have an actress and you gotta kill one, marry one, or burn one. Is it kill one, marry one, or burn one? Right? So I'm gonna give you 3 actresses and you have to tell me which one would you kill, which one would you marry, which one would you burn. All right?
Yeah.
So we got Vivica A. Fox.
Yeah.
Okay. Tina Turner. She's amazing. And then we have Angelica Hurston. So kill one, marry one, burn one. Which one do we get rid of? Which one do we kill? Which one do we marry?
But see, I like all of them, so I can't kill them. I gotta be my own.
Maybe we should do kill. Okay. So let's say which one is your muse? Let's do art. Which one is your muse? Which one is your inspiration? And which one would
My inspiration is Angela Bassett.
that's my
Yes.
hero.
I met her. I met her a year ago.
So what would she be your muse or inspiration?
More of an inspiration because she's talented.
Okay.
My muse would be Kerry Washington.
Kerry Washington. Wait. Kerry Washington? Like young Kerry Washington?
She's not that young.
She's not that old either. Wait, that's your inspiration. Or your muse. She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she
Oh
is.
my gosh.
She is.
Yeah.
She is.
I can see all that caramel and cocoa. Great.
She is.
Okay, so we got the muse, No, the inspiration is
Angela
Angelica.
Bassett,
Muse is Carrie
Carrie Washington.
Washington. And then what's the one that you would just like? I could never, ever, ever do an art piece about this person. I just
Madonna.
can't. Madonna, really? Why Madonna?
She too controversial.
She's very controversial. Oh my God, very controversial. We already know. So that's what we got for Kevin, and we're actually going to be going to his private collection. You'll be able to see some pictures of some of his favorite artists, and you'll be able to kind of interact with that. So before we go and we wrap up everything, I have a question for you, and this is a really important question, not only for us now but later. As African Americans, of the African American community, female community, because this is who we're speaking to, what do we need to do in order for us to be able to move together as a society? Because that's one of the things I think that we forget about a lot. What
Well,
do we need?
um, I think when you look at it now, you got a female vice president of African American. You got a wonderful Supreme Court judge. I think,
Which one?
I'm talking about a brown, what's his name? The one we just
The
elected.
one who's elected,
Yeah,
you know,
brown,
there's a few.
brown, you,
She's amazing, yes.
the,
Kalanji
Tanya,
or something like
yeah,
that.
Tanya, I mean, I watched her clipping information. I thought she was very strong.
Very
I thought the way they did her was just cruel.
very much
It
so.
was just cruel. Um, I think I think a lot of are on the way because when you look in our world, you look at people. To me, Renee Stout, who's one of the newest members of Africa. You got Kara Walker.
Yeah.
You got Shanique Smith. You
Yeah.
got Mimic Lane Thomas. And the person I like the most is the young lady who's who's doing the quilts.
Oh, yes.
Piece of Butler.
Yes,
Love
Lisa's stuff is amazing.
love her.
Oh my, that's one you should buy. Lisa.
And another one this year is Dawn Williams Ford. She lives here.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
Yes, Dawn. I forgot about Dawn. She
Dawn.
actually just had an exhibition. Like I think it was in DC.
I went down. Dawn is amazing.
Yeah, she's good.
Dawn is amazing. I mean, a real good sister. And she also shares information too.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, she's Dawn has got some amazing stuff. Lisa's got some amazing
Yeah.
stuff, and like her, the way that she tells a story in that her work is amazing.
I was talking to her once on Facebook, and she made me realize how old I was, and she said, I was reading about you in high school.
That's rude.
It wasn't true, but she was just introducing. She was real nice. She introduced herself and said, "Yeah, I was reading about you." And then she said, "I didn't know that you taught high school," which I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting, especially like the things that you have done.
Yeah,
I tell you my old story. Like, you remember those little raisins I used to dance on the ones that you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
I showed them my niece. Oh, oh, these are the best things. She's like, "What's that?" I've never even heard of. I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
That's when I knew it's over for me. It's over for
Is
me.
is those and cassette tapes?
Yes, yes. 8 tracks. I still remember 8 tracks. Remember,
I got it.
I grew up without cell phones, so I'm just like I'm all the way somewhere else. But I have another question for you before I let you go. It's artificial intelligence. We got to go down this road for a second because this is an interesting thing. Artificial intelligence is now taking the spot of a lot of art. So you're starting to see NFTs. You're starting to see digitally created works of art. People are allowing their features to be repainted by AI. Smart stuff. What do you think? Where does it bring creativity if you give it to
I think
artificial
it's still early. The jury's still out. Will it test? Will it? Will it? Uh, I'm sorry. Will it test the taste? Test the test of time.
Yeah,
How long would it be there?
yeah. Well,
It's like because they said for a long time that painting was dead
that's true. Yeah.
because video was coming.
That's true. You're absolutely
So
right.
will it take? Will it? Will it be able to live through the test of time?
Yeah.
That's the key.
As someone who has a master's in fine art, would you accept someone putting something in a juried exhibition that was artificially intelligently designed?
I would have to do some research on it first
Yeah.
to see how it was really done.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking about NFTs, but yet you're seeing a lot of the people, a lot of things happening with the athletes getting screwed with their money.
Oh, big time, because
Yeah,
the money isn't following
no,
where it needs to go.
it needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, with the convergence of technology, I feel like the creativity that you do is going to be more important
Okay,
because when you take creativity out of people's hands, there's a need that we have to, like, we want
absolutely.
to do it. So then that means that our hands-on is going to be more important because AI is going to be doing a lot of stuff that
Right.
we were doing before. So
Exactly.
we'll see. We'll see. So stands the test of time. So, anyways, thank you so much, Kevin, for
Thank you.
doing this with us, having this conversation. It has been amazing. We're actually going to have an infographic that talks about some of the steps that Kevin outlined today. Hold up your book again. Kevin Cole, where do we go from here? You can get it from his website. We'll put it
And
on.
Amazon.
And you on Amazon now? Okay.
And
All right. You about that life, y'all. So, Amazon and on his website at $35. I see it real quick. I bit of what you're going to be seeing on the inside. And I mean, I'm telling you guys, this is absolutely gorgeous the way that he has it. Lots of education. It tells you what it's about. I'm not going to give you everything, not to buy it. $35, and then also we'll be seeing Kevin out and about in Atlanta. So if you start going to art shows, you might see this guy. All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Kevin. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, time. We're way past an hour. Where have you been?
No,